Lately, I've been looking at my home and realizing that the pieces I love the most are the ones that feel like they have a history and a story, pieces that feel like heirlooms. So today, I'm taking mostly Dollar Tree items plus a few thrifted finds and turning them into pieces that feel collected, intentional, and honestly heirloom-like. Or will be tomorrow's heirlooms, the kind of decor you'd expect to cost much more than it does. We're talking Lulu Georgia dupes, Magnolia-inspired gallery rails, and a silver cleaning hack that, well, let's just say was a learning moment. So if you've got high-end taste on a Dollar Tree budget, you're in the right place. Now grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's turn some cheap finds into forever pieces. So I love candle warmers, but the glass shades always felt a little cold and harsh to me. I wanted something warmer with more texture, something that felt closer to a woven basket than an appliance. For the material, I used trim from a Dollar Tree straw hat that they have out every spring. I had to take it apart for a different project, and the way it naturally bends made it perfect for wrapping around the glass shade. I attached it with construction adhesive, and used hot glue to hold everything in place while it's set. Most woven shades like this are handmade and sell for around $60 on Etsy. I already had this trim from another project, but even if you have to buy the hat for $1.25, you're still recreating a $60 shade for practically nothing. Now, candle warmers can get quite hot, so this is something you'll want to use with care and never leave unattended. And here's how it turned out. The natural texture completely changed the look. It feels so much softer and more intentional now, and I love how it looks in my entryway. So this next piece actually surprised me. I've been wanting one of those Magnolia-style hanging mirrors, the ones with the decorative rail and chain, and I decided to try making one with Dollar Tree supplies. For the rail, I used a dowel rod from Walmart, but you could use the Dollar Tree version. For the finials on each end, I used a rook piece from the Dollar Tree chess and checker set. The chain came from one of those hanging mason jar lids, and to connect everything, I used a few links from a Dollar Tree garden chain. I painted the dowel rod black to match my space, then hot glued the rook pieces on each end. For the mirror itself, I used a Dollar Tree round mirror and a black frame. It was already the right color, so no painting needed there. To attach the chain to the frame, I drilled 2 small holes and inserted eye hooks from Dollar Tree Picture Frame Hardware Kit. I originally put them too close together and I had to re-drill, but once I got the spacing right, everything came together. I touched up the eye hook with some black paint since they were originally gold, just to keep everything cohesive. And I couldn't believe how it turned out. It's honestly one of my favorite pieces I've made. And if gold works better in your space, you could easily paint everything that color instead. Black just happens to work for mine. Now this next one is a simple change, but it might be one of the most satisfying. I thrifted this wooden paper towel holder for about $2, and even though it was made for the kitchen, the shape immediately felt like it could be something else. It had a small hole drilled into the base, so I filled that with wood filler and gave the whole piece a light sand and stain to warm it up. That was it. No complicated build, no extra hardware. So here's what I did with it. Styled as a hat stand, it completely changed how the piece felt. I first tried it with a fedora, then with a straw hat I picked up in Bermuda, and both worked beautifully. This might actually be one of the most satisfying transformations. It's the kind of piece that looks intentional and collected, but really just came from seeing something familiar in a different way. This next DIY was inspired by those Magnolia Lincoln wood frames that feel architectural, almost like small sculptures. For the base, I used a thrifted candlestick holder, but you could easily use one from Dollar Tree. And for the frame, I grabbed one of Dollar Tree's newer frames with the butterfly detail. It already had that black and copper look, but I spray painted both pieces black so everything felt cohesive. The frame came with a moody forest print in black, white, and gray, and honestly, it was perfect as is, so no art swap needed. I glued the frame directly to the candlestick base with some E6000 and hot glue. and that was it. And this piece feels like something you could have owned for years. It just has that heirloom quality that never goes out of style. This next DIY was inspired by a Lulu and Georgia vase, and it's a technique I've used before for my bedroom, but I wanted to revisit with a slightly different look. I started with a simple glass vase and sprayed it white as a base. For the pattern, I used floral napkins, this time with green botanicals. These napkins are 2-ply, so I separated the top layer, cut the flowers into sections, and applied them with homemade Mod Podge of white school glue and water. To finish it off, like the inspiration, I painted the lip and the inside of the vase to look like it was a clay pot. To do that, I used a warm clay tone paint. I also lightly distressed a few areas so it looked like the ceramic finish had chipped over time. Once everything was dry, I filled it with an $8 bouquet from Whole Foods that I picked up from a birthday gift. And honestly, it looks like something you'd order from a florist for $50 or more. I think this makes for an elevated gift on a budget, and I know the recipient is going to love it. This next find I recently thrifted, a silver-plated creamer and sugar bowl for $1.99 each. The sugar bowl was missing a handle, but I didn't mind that at all. Sometimes imperfections make the piece even better, and I just couldn't resist how feminine these pieces looked. They reminded me so much of my grandmother. But before I could do anything with them, they needed to be cleaned up. So I tried one of those viral TikTok silver cleaning hacks using baking soda, salt, aluminum foil, and hot water. And I'll be honest, it didn't work very well. But I still wanted to show it because not every hack lives up to the hype. So I ended up using the pink stuff to get the shine I was looking for. I did leave some patina because I love that look. Once they were cleaned, they were ready for the DIY I planned, which takes 5 minutes. Super quick and easy. So I wanted the sugar bowl to become a candle using sand wax. And then the creamer became a match holder. I filled it with matches and glued a striker to the bottom. They're small changes, but together they make a really beautiful little pair. Practical, layered, imperfect, and full of character. This next DIY was inspired by the Lochlan frame from Lulu and Georgia. I used a frame I already had on hand, but you could absolutely start with a Dollar Tree frame. Honestly, theirs might even look a little more authentic. For the detail, I used pearl vase filler from the Dollar Tree's floral section and glued each piece around the frame with hot glue to create the beaded look. Once everything was attached, I sprayed the frame and the pearls black to unify the finish. You could also use Dollar Tree craft paint and keep this completely Dollar Tree. This frame works with art, family photos, and they make great gifts. I hope this inspires you to look at those Dollar Tree aisles a little differently. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.